Ugh. Is there anything more frustrating than a bathtub that just refuses to drain? You're just trying to take a shower and suddenly you're standing in a puddle. Well, if that sounds familiar, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to walk through how to fix that pesky problem step by step and get your water flowing like it's supposed to.
You know that feeling, right? The water starts creeping up around your ankles and it hits you. You're in a showdown with a seriously stubborn clog. It's one of those super annoying everyday problems, but here's the good news. This is a battle you can almost always win yourself, no backup needed.
So what are we really up against here? Well, it's usually not some big mystery. It's almost always a gnarly combination of just two things: hair and soap scum. They just build up over time, creating this sticky, gross mess that blocks everything up. And hey, knowing your enemy is always the first step to victory.
Okay, before you even think about reaching for crazy tools or harsh chemicals, we always start simple. Think of this as your first line of attack. It's super easy, it's quick, and honestly, you'd be surprised how often it's all you need to do.
All right, here's your three-part game plan. First things first, just grab some pliers or even a bent wire hanger and pull out any hair you can see right at the drain opening. I'm telling you, you'll be shocked at what comes out. Next, just run hot water from the tap, not boiling, just hot, for a few minutes. That'll help loosen up and dissolve some of that soap residue. If it's still draining slow, it's time for the plunger. Now here's a crucial tip. Cover the overflow plate with a wet rag to get a good seal. Then, with a little water in the tub, plunge like you mean it for about 20 or 30 seconds.
So, what if the simple stuff just didn't cut it? Don't even worry about it. We just move on to level 2. For this, we're going to try a little bit of simple chemistry, using a couple of things you definitely have in your kitchen right now.
Yep, you guessed it. We're talking about the classic powerhouse duo, baking soda and vinegar. It's a fantastic natural alternative to those harsh drain cleaners. They create this awesome fizzing, bubbling reaction that physically works to break apart all that gunk that's clogging up your pipes.
Now listen up, because the recipe and the order here really matter. First, you're going to pour half a cup of baking soda straight down the drain. Then you follow that up with 1 cup of plain old white vinegar. Get ready for the fizz.
And now for the easiest part of the whole process. You just wait. Let that fizzy mixture do its thing for about 15 to 20 minutes. That gives the reaction enough time to really work its way down and break apart all that hair and soap scum.
Okay, and this is so important. Please, never, ever mix this baking soda and vinegar solution with a chemical drain cleaner that you might have already tried. Mixing different chemicals can create some seriously dangerous fumes. Always stick to one solution at a time. Safety first.
All right, if that clog is still putting up a fight after all that, it's time to escalate. This means the clog is probably pretty deep, or it's really tough. So we've got to go in with a specialized tool to break it up physically.
And this is that tool. It's called a drain auger, but you almost always hear people call it a drain snake. It's basically a long, flexible tool that lets you reach way down into the pipe to either pull out or break up a stubborn clog that the other methods just couldn't get to. Now, using one of these might look intimidating, but it's actually pretty straightforward. You just slowly feed the coiled end down into the drain until you feel some resistance. That's your clog. Then you just crank the handle, which rotates that tip, and it'll either break the clog apart or hook onto it so you can pull it out. Gently pull it all back out, get rid of any gunk, and then flush the drain really well with hot water.
You know, in any good battle, there's a time to fight and a time to make a strategic retreat. If you have tried everything we've talked about and that drain is still clogged, it might be a sign of a much bigger problem, one that really needs a professional.
So what are the red flags? Well, if it's not just your tub, but multiple drains in your house are slow, that could be a main sewer line issue. If you've gone through all these fixes and had zero luck, or if you can see that your pipes look really old and corroded, it is absolutely time to call a licensed plumber. Trust me, you don't want to risk turning a small problem into a huge, expensive nightmare. And that's a great reminder that every DIYer has their limit, you know? For some people, it's plumbing like this. For others, it's anything to do with electricity. So we'll just leave you with this question to chew on. What's the one household problem you will always leave to the pros?